Welcome to Idea Tennis, where we challenge ideas, elevate thinking, and serve up conversation that make you question everything.
Scarcity is a lens, it's not a fact. People don't pay for time, people pay for results. That's what people want to pay. So, what are the results that your offer is making? If I'm saying that to myself, I'm manifesting it, I'm affirming it, I'm believing it, I'm putting it out into the universe.
We are back, and it's Easter weekend, and so much happened on this weekend. Normally, when I'm in my childhood era, this used to be my favorite weekend back in Jamaica. Why? Because of the one thing we call bun and cheese. We're gonna talk about that later on, but because of Easter. I know, Jess. I know you went to the store recently to get some bun and cheese because I mentioned it to you, and you actually didn't know exactly what it was, but you actually did get it.
No.
What did you get? What did you get, by the way?
Oh, look, I'll show you. Wait. I had no idea what to expect. I was not expecting this. Here we go. Henry's Bun and Cheese.
You know, when people see it, like at least Americans, when they see it, they were like, "Oh, that's bread. That's like a bread." Yeah, I know it's look like a bread, but it's bun for us in Jamaica. It's definitely bun. But
You said bun. I thought like a bun, like what we think of a bun.
yeah, that's a lot of people mistake it for, but it's a little different. But it's my actual favorite time of the year as a child. It's like my favorite time of year because of the celebration we have in Jamaica. Because we didn't grow up with the big Christmas thing or the other holidays Americans celebrate, but we really had a big thing for Easter because everybody bakes, and it's not just the bun and cheese, but they bake everything. Like a lot of baking happens, and I got the sweet tooth, so I was always like, oh my god, you go from house to house to see what other people bake. You get to try it out, either like some pudding, and it's not like the American pudding either, but we got like
Is it
just
like
different
bread
cakes.
pudding?
Well, not the same. It's different. So like we bake everything like from the sweet potato stuff, like on our potatoes a little bit. We'll bake this stuff a little differently. But in Jamaica, man, I'm telling you, it's a big time of the year for this. Like everybody start baking. All the bakeries have a bunch of pretty way of putting this stuff together. It's so yummy. I'm the same. But guess what though? Since I've been in America, I have been a little bit lactose intolerant, and I'm gonna do a plug right now, Jess, if you don't mind. We talked about the digestive enzyme, the thing that helps me get over my lactose intolerance with the cheese, so to speak, the dairy stuff. And so for the folks that are listening, that maybe you're Jamaican or something like that, you're like, hey, I used to eat bun and cheese, but I can't do the dairy stuff. I found something that actually gets me going. I found something that helps me really cool off my stomach when I eat the cheese, because when I eat the cheese, it gets my stomach on fire, but this one cool it off. And it's called digestive enzyme. I know, Jess, you're familiar with that one.
Yeah, like right here, I'm about to take it so that I can have this bun and cheese and my stomach not be mad at me. I actually keep this big bottle in my kitchen at home. And then I have this little travel pack of the digestive enzymes in my purse. I do not leave home without it. Do you know why, Asher?
Why?
In case I have some bad food at a restaurant or go to a friend's house that doesn't know how to cook too good, or the opposite. You go to somebody's house and they just kill it in the kitchen and you just have way too much.
Way too much, yeah.
You get that itis feeling. This will get rid of that itis feeling, that bloating. Yes, this does not leave home without ever, ever, ever. But this is what digestive enzymes is, my friend. Look, it matches my nails today.
And
Yes.
it tastes pretty good, by the way. So anybody's wondering, I just want to share that because I know a lot of folks like me that have issues with the dairy stuff. Sometimes you want to eat like some of your favorite thing. You just want to try. If you want to try ice cream or something like. That's another thing I do when I talk to my sister's like, look, let's go get ice cream. I'm like, okay, let's go do it, because I know it's gonna be a little thing, but I bring that with me. I got my digestive enzyme to make sure that I don't go crazy. Okay, but let's talk about our main topic today. Our main topic is around money anxiety. And let me give you guys the breakdown today so we can keep on track going through all this stuff. So the big conversation that me and Jess gonna have today, which you guys gonna love on this Easter weekend, is the goal is to help entrepreneurs shift their relationship with money from fear to empowerment. Are we gonna break this down into the 5 P's? And if you think about the 5 P's, so the goal is first the principal piece. The goal is money is a tool, not a master, right? That's the goal of the principle. The goal of the pattern is underprice and service, fear of selling, guilt about making money. And the promise is shift your money mindset leads to abundance and confidence. Prediction: the more comfortable you become with money, the more you'll attract. And the last but not least, the purpose of the last P is price something fairly and ask for it unapologetically. All right, so we're gonna have the conversation around pretty much our mindset when it comes to money and some of the anxiety that shows up, and especially when making offers. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, as a new entrepreneur, that's one of the big challenge I had was like, this is my price, and I'm gonna make sure that I offered it to you, and then I don't really like waver on my price because this is my value I'm offering you. So how will you coach somebody or at least give somebody advice when it comes to making an offer as far as their mindset around the money and the anxiety piece?
I mean, that's a great question, Asher. I'm going to actually share something that happened earlier this week that really shines a light on the conversation of value and how we see ourselves. So I go to the hair salon once a week to get my hair blown out, and my hairdresser, the master magician that she is, we have I'm in her chair for an hour, and so we have some incredible conversation. And this week she asked me, because we were talking about business, I was sharing with her some tough decisions I had recently made regarding my business. And she said to me, she speaks Spanish. I understood what she was saying, but I didn't understand the context. And so I asked her to repeat it. And so she said, do you recognize who you are? And I think that that is a question that a lot of us don't really think about. And so then I said to her, what do you mean by that? I don't understand. And then she said to me, do you recognize who you are? Do you recognize what you've accomplished, what you're doing, what you've done to help other people, the impact that you've had?
Mm.
And when she asked the question that way, it was completely different. It almost rewired the way my brain was thinking at that moment of, do I realize who I am?
Mm.
And not in a negative, egotistical way, but I live a life of service. I pour into others from my experiences, my skill sets, my education. I live every day to try my best to help people live their best life, to achieve their dreams, their goals, to accomplish things that they didn't think were possible. What value do you put on that? What's the dollar amount of the offer? How do you make that tangible and feel good about putting it out into the world? Asher, you recently had a conversation with me about your offer.
A very good one, by the way.
At the end of the conversation, you said, that's something to think about. And then several hours later in the evening, I get this beautiful email saying, thank you for our conversation. This is what I came up with. And I responded, it was brilliant. How were you able to feel comfortable about the offer that you created?
Well, my single biggest challenge in that moment was I had a few people that I've spoken to about my offer, and they wanted it, but they couldn't reach it based on the price point. But then after a conversation, I start asking myself is, what are the other ways of getting paid other than the money? And I start thinking like, okay, there's plenty of other ways. Like money is a form of payment, but it's not the only way you get paid because there's other things that I'm meeting people that they have to offer, but I didn't see how I can fit it in my growth in my community. But then I'm like, oh, wait a minute, they can pay me with that. They can pay me with that. So I start go. So that's why I went back in the chat GPT myself. I was sitting, I'm like, okay, what are different kind of way of getting paid in business? You have a business. What are other ways you can get paid other than the currency exchange? And I start working out that piece, and it hits me. I'm like, wait a minute, I can ask of them other things other than money that they have as valuable because of their skill set, their unique ability that I can apply to my growth, my community. And that's when I start looking at it with the scholarship piece. How I break the percentage down based on what I want to ask from them. And then it started making sense. And I felt, listen, just, I felt so good. I was like, man, do you know how much time you can leave stuff on the table because you don't understand how to get value out of other people, other than the currency, the money exchange. And that was I didn't thought about that. Because like I say, I'm new to the entrepreneur space. I'm coming from the military. I just do, right? And I'm an employee mindset.
Mhm.
But from a business mindset, you start thinking about people have a lot of value that they can give you. You just gotta figure out how you apply it into your own growth, your own community. I'm like, this person is good at that. Let me do some little kind of bartering, but not really. But other ways of getting that currency exchange that is not just money, but still have money as part of it.
Yes, because the currency exchange
Mm-hmm.
should ideally add equal or more value than
Mm-hmm.
what you're offering. And the truth of the matter is, you are an entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur. And just we have a heart of service, and as much as we want to create impact and help other people, we also have a desire for financial success. I think that a lot of people, it's not that they're afraid of charging too much.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're afraid of people judging them. Are you worth that? Why are you worth
Mm-hmm.
that?
Mm-hmm. Keep going. Yes.
And the truth of the matter is, who determines the worth?
Mm-hmm.
I think that when you realize that money and your relationship with money, whether it's the offer, whether it's what you're willing to pay because of the value. Listen, the conversation that we had that changed the whole trajectory of your offer, to me, was valuable to you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was the thing that made the difference in how you shifted your mindset to think about your offer. And it actually leads you to even more financial rewards, to more money. Because, yes, part of the entrepreneur journey that we are on is about creating wealth, because wealth is what gives us freedom and opportunity and allows us to be of service even more to other people and to create meaningful impact. But I think that people's money view of their relationship with it, whether it's scarcity, whether it's abundance, really has so many things wrapped up. Have you ever seen or gone to like the supply store and you see a ball of rubber bands,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And then depending on if you don't pick the right rubber band in the right order, all of a sudden the ball falls apart and all the rubber bands go everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's how people view money, in the sense of it's loss of control, because you don't see how you have the skill set to keep it all together. I'm going to reference a conversation we had a few weeks ago. And the conversation was with my client that I had a difficult communication with, and I set the boundaries and
Mm-hmm.
I claimed my worth. Was that easy to do? No. Was it necessary to do? Yes. Did the client feel that I was worth more than what they were paying me? Yeah. Were they willing to pay me more? No. So there was a hard decision to be made. When you compromise to make somebody else feel better, what's the sacrifice and what's the cost for you? When you're thinking about money, is it the abundance mindset? Is it the scarcity mindset? Or are you paralyzed that you can't even make a decision? Am I willing to invest in myself? How many of us, and a lot of the people that listen to our podcast are entrepreneurs also. Asher, how much money over the years have you invested in your self education and in your pursuit of more?
Here's a funny part. I think about that even when I was putting together my offer. I was like, do these people know how much money that I've taken out trying different tools, trying different things? Because the thing about getting to an outcome is that it's an intellectual shortcut, but you don't find it right away. You gotta go dig to a whole bunch of places, get lost a whole bunch of times to find it. So now I can give you the straight step to it. but you got to recognize that it cost me to get here.
Yes.
And tens of thousands of dollars cost me to figure this thing out. And trying different systems, paying for it for a while to learn it, and figure out, okay, that's not the thing that's going to work, or I got something from it. So you can recognize the one that actually worked. So these are the tools of my profession now. And the tools of my profession wasn't handed to me just like, hey, these are 1, 2, 3, Asher. No. Well, it was a bunch of them. And I had to sort them out.
I have a follow-up question, Asher. Have there ever been occasions where you've had to select the payment plan option because you didn't have the full offer amount,
Mm-hmm.
but you saw the value and potential in what the offer that you were purchasing could have on you?
Oh, yes, of course. And and this is a lot of times what you do. You go in there and like, okay, I want this thing, but I'm gonna finance it. Because no, at the end of the day, the reward is gonna be worth more than what I'm paying right now. Because oftentimes on the other side of this thing is worth more to me than the money I'm giving you,
Yes.
so to speak. And I'm like, yeah, I'll give you this money because what you're giving me is worth more than the money. And that exchange is what I saw in a lot of things that I got. Because it made me a way better person. Like, oh my God. Let me not go down to this rabbit hole, but this, yeah, I've done a lot of stuff that I'm like, man, this is really making me a better person. Because I've always invested in me personally,
Mhm.
investing in growing Asher. And then I can be a better service to another person because I understand Asher way more and the things I got to offer.
When you charge with integrity, you call people to rise, not to purchase.
Mm.
You are shining a light on the potential and the possibility that the person has with the right coach, with the right framework, with the right mindset, with whatever the right thing is that you are offering, and they are choosing to say yes. They're choosing to say yes to your offer, but ultimately they are choosing to say yes to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They are choosing their dreams. They're choosing to move beyond the fear and lean into faith. They are choosing the opportunity to find a way to even fail their way to success because of an offer that was so compelling that you made that they chose to take the scary, unknown next step and take out the wallet.
But here's the thing. So the big theme here is money related anxiety because a lot of people just hold on to their money very tight, or they don't know how to make an offer based on how much value they're putting out. So it's always that back and forth. It's like and I think I forget who says it, but it was like how you buy is how you pay, or how you pay is how you buy. So if you're a person that really don't like to let money go, it's very hard to charge other people as well, and
Yeah,
vice
that's like
versa.
scarcity is a lens. It's not a fact, right?
Mm,
That
yeah.
speaks to what you just said.
So it's interesting. So I gotta start. So when I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, I'm always a buyer in any instance, but then I figure out my offer has to mean something, because you've gotten to things where like you're on people, they show up and they say we're gonna do this thing, but oftentimes they get into it and they don't take action. And if you don't charge a price, they show up, waste your time, and still don't do anything. So you gotta figure out if you're gonna show up to my thing, then you gotta pay to show up. If you pay and you don't do anything, that's on you. You waste your own money. You waste your own time. But you're gonna stop wasting mine. But in the beginning of the entrepreneur journey, you gotta do a lot of beta testing. You gotta do a lot of testing. You collecting evidence or testimonies or case studies, whatever you wanna call it, and you do a lot of stuff for free. But then you can get trapped in that free zone and not putting a price on your worth and your value. So now I got to a place where I'm like, okay, now I got to put an offer out for my thing, my service, because now I've tested it so many times. I know the value of it, and this is the price. But then you meet clients that are like, okay, I can't afford that price, but I have other ways of paying you. And I had to see that. I didn't saw that. I was only see cash exchange, but I'm like, wait a minute. My community need that thing right there. How can I add that to my offer in exchange for the person?
A lot of us see things as simple and straightforward, especially
Mhm.
when it comes to an offer, when we're buying anything. You think about when you're going to the bodega, the corner store, to buy a bottle of water. You're considering the brand, the size of the bottled water, and the price. And most people, go for the least expensive option. So if there are 3 water bottles and each of the water bottles have 16.9 ounces, but they're all different brands. And so the price is different. So the lowest price is the generic, the store brand. The second bottle in price is a popular brand that a lot of people use. And then the third bottle that is considered expensive has additional benefits to the water. Maybe it's alkaline water. It's not just regular water, it's alkaline water. So you're paying for premium. But most people go into the store with the mindset of buying the most cost-effective bottle. And so they buy the generic because that's, we're going to say $1. And they feel good about paying $1. They feel they got good value. The person who pays the $3 for the alkaline water says, yeah, $3 is a lot when I could get 3 bottles of the generic water. But guess what? This water that I'm paying $3 for today is going to help me live a long life tomorrow. It's going to have added extra benefits. It's going to help me in my pursuit of, and in this case, maybe it's optimal health and wellness. So is it worth the $3 to me because of what I see is waiting for me in the future as a result of purchasing and investing in this premium water? Heck yeah. So now I realize that the price doesn't reflect the size. And so maybe the size here that we're talking about are the number of weeks. It doesn't reflect where we are, if we're online or in person. The price should reflect the energy, the expertise, and most important, the results it's going to bring. People don't pay for time. People pay for results. That's what people want to pay. So what are the results that your offer is making?
Here's the beautiful thing about that analogy you use with the water. So the store owner understands customer base. He's like, I'm selling water at the end of the day, but I have 3 water that meets the needs of my customer. I got a cheap water for the one that likes cheap, go cheap. I got a mid-grade, and I got the premium. So same thing when I was doing the offer, I was breaking it down in three offers, right? I'm making 3 offers. I'm like, okay, this one meets the client where they at, those that can't afford the price point, but they're still getting the service. This one gets them, if they can't afford this price point, get the service. And this one is a premium. I would like to sell the premium all day. But at the end of the day, how can I still get the client that I know I like working with, but they have a price point challenge, right? They are thirsty. That one right there is thirsty. It's a good client to have, a very thirsty client. But now, okay, I'm going to give you this water right here, the one for $1, but I'm still serving you because I want to serve you. But in the exchange, I get something from you based on that. So that was something that the conversation you and I had. I'm tell you, like I listened to some of the folks that give me feedback on the podcast. They was like, I love that lady Jessica. I love that Jessica lady because she just Anyway, so people are enjoying your I was saying your expression on the way you kind of frame stuff. Just like when I was talking to you about my challenge with figuring out how do I really meet my client, the ones that I saw that are very thirsty. And like I want to help them, and how do I get the thing from them that they probably don't know they have to offer me, but I saw it. And because of that conversation, I'm like, wait a minute, they got that value to offer me, but I didn't notice it until we start talking. So no, when I start looking at my other clients, and I'm like, okay, cool. All right, wait a minute. Yeah, you got more to offer, but you don't know you got more to offer to me. So I'm gonna show it to you so you can offer it back, so we can make the exchange.
Yeah. I think that a lot of us often fall short of seeing value as money. And I'm not saying don't charge your worth, don't charge for your service. What I am saying is that it shouldn't always be a one price fits all, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've come across a lot of people And I'm not talking about offers that we find online that the price is locked in, but even those prices are negotiable at some level. But when you're negotiating business with someone and they're saying to you, okay, this is my budget. What can you offer me for my budget? That's a different conversation than you going in and saying, this is my price. Either you want to hire me or you don't want to hire me. I think that when you realize that both scenarios have different outcomes, and the different outcomes don't necessarily mean negative outcomes. We actually had this conversation about when you hire somebody for whatever it is that they're an expertise in, technology, a coach, whatever, that they know more about a particular subject matter than you do. When you hire them, because you're their client, they generally tell you things that they charge other people for. You're their client. So they want to keep you as their client. And when you ask them a question, they give you the answer. Most people, other people would have had to pay for that answer. So there is a value exchange beyond money.
That's the money-related anxiety piece. Yes, people don't get it.
So many people focus and question and second guess, is the offer too expensive? Are my fees too expensive? Is my product too expensive? We were talking about vitamins with a group of people the other day, and I said to them, the most expensive vitamin is the vitamin that sits on the counter and you never take. That is the most expensive vitamin. Listen, you ask my husband, the budget that I spend on my hair is too much. Too much. It's too much money. For me, on the other hand, I get a lot of value. I write it off as a business expense, but I get a lot of value. I cannot live without having my weekly blow dry. And I know that sounds vain, but I cannot blow dry my hair by myself. And that's a conversation for another day. But remember, I'm Puerto Rican. I got thick hair. But I digress. I think that we fail to do what my hairdresser did. And that's ask ourselves, do we recognize who we are? Do we recognize the value we bring? Do we recognize the work we've accomplished? Do we recognize the things that we've helped other people do? The possibility, the dreams, the desires that other people have been able to achieve because of the work that we did with them, that I did with them, that you did with them, that our audience has done. My hairdresser, I joke, but I'm very serious when I say not all blow dries are not created equal. I go and see her at a salon that the price is standard. But if she was outside of that salon and she wanted to charge me 3 times what I pay there, I will find the money. I would find the money because I think her work is exceptional. And it's not just the blow dry that I find exceptional about her. The conversation and the friendship when I'm sitting in that chair, that's a value that is beyond money. It's beyond currency.
No, that's impressive. How many times we meet people and we realize the power that they have built inside of themselves that help us feel so empowered? Like how many times we meet people that we didn't expect them to be so, I would say, unique in our life, but when you start unfolding the thing, and even when I met you let me go here.
Okay.
Even when I first met you, I'm trying to think. I picture it. It wasn't hard for it. I think I remember that. It was it?
It was a seminar.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, hey, we started talking. And I was like, man, I like this lady. I think we can really have a good conversation. But then I didn't see all of this. But as the time unfolded, we start recognizing the uniqueness that we have that kind of like really, really connects. But automatically you felt the energy at first. So you were saying your hairdresser first, you start going to her, she's really, really good. Like she start having great conversation with you. And then it makes you feel good about your own hair. Because I'm sure if she was a hairdresser that really talk a lot of crap and doesn't talk, like, you probably won't feel so great about the hairstyle she give you anyway. So it comes back to the person, how they make you feel about what it done for you. So just like as a coach, I'm like, yeah, I'm right. You help me write your story. And the way I make you feel about your story, make you recognize and appreciate your own stories. You feel good about you. So I would ask you this. So other than her making your hair look good, if she was a person that trash talked you, would you feel so great about your hair though?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I mean, I do believe that part of the whole experience that I'm paying for, I go to have my hair done, is just that intellectual conversation, the connection that I have with her after so many years. I trust her. I think that that is something that is required when you make an offer, whatever the offer is trust and integrity. To be able to know that I can trust you, Asher, when you make me your offer. And we had this conversation the other day about someone that you referred to me to hire and their offer. And I was questioning their offer.
Mm-hmm.
We were having a energized banter back and forth. The
It
two
was, it
of us.
was, it was idea tennis at
Yes,
its best.
yes, it was. But what you said was to trust the outcome, to trust that the finished product was going to be representative of me and something that I could feel good and proud of. That was based on the work that you did with this person. And so because I trust you, I trust now this person with this project that I'm working on. That is just as valuable to know that, okay, it's X amount of dollars that I'm paying. This is going to be the intended result, the outcome at the end. In this scenario, because it's a project, a very tangible thing, you were like, just trust the process. If you don't like what they give you, go back and tell them how to fix it. And do that as many times as you need to until it's done the way you want it. Just trust that they're going to be able to do that for you. And when you said that, it was a whole different perspective to have trust in the person that you're paying.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you have trust, you trust not only the outcome, the results, but you trust the process to get there. And I think that a lot of us, when we are considering whether or not we should pay for an offer, we question the process. We question, is it going to serve me? We question, how is this going to help me? If I invest this amount of money and this amount of time, what's going to be the end result? And instead of robbing your joy of the process and realizing that growth requires sometimes uncomfortable decisions, including money, whether it's to make the offer or pay for the offer. But how you position it in your head, in your mindset, how you think about it is going to determine your decision. So from the perspective of I'm making the offer, I know my worth. I know that all the people that pay me for these exclusive 20 spots in my program are going to receive an excess of the value of the dollar amount that they are paying for. That if they actually take the things that we work on each week and apply them to their business and their life, they will far exceed the price of the course.
Mm-hmm.
So I know there are people lining up, waiting to pay me for my offer. If I'm saying that to myself,
Mm-hmm.
I'm manifesting it, I'm affirming it, I'm believing it, I'm putting it out into the universe, I'm doing the work. I did the work. I have the expertise. I think about my offer much different. I don't think about it as too expensive. I don't question, am I worth it?
Mm-hmm.
I'm cheap if you ask me. I'm cheap in my offer. But from the flip side of it, someone about to pay for an offer, if I convince myself in my head, that is worth every single penny. I've seen her on the podcast for 20 weeks now. I've heard other people's testimonials of what it's like to work with her. I've seen the results she's been able to help other people get. And I know that if I work with her, I can have those same results. Now you feel good about paying me for my offer. You're not questioning, is it worth it? You're not questioning what the outcome is going to be because you've made the commitment, not just of the money, but the time, the energy, and the effort to turn that money into more money for yourself and your own business.
Mm. You said something earlier that was talking about the project and the person that you had to trust the process. You see, another thing about when we are like sieving through the rubble, trying to figure out the pathway, and you say, okay, I've done a lot of things to figure out exactly how to get to this thing now. And for the person, it's like, oh, should I pay the money or not? Well, listen, you can trust that I've sieved through this thing and I know exactly how to get to that point. And you can go back, you can go out there and do your lot of searching on your own, but I already know because of how much I put in to find this thing, this is my price. How much? Because yeah, it cost me way more than this, but I'm willing to give it to for this price. So therefore, I'm not changing my price. My price gonna go up. You know, I heard this example about the ice cream truck. He was talking about people are lining up, right? And the point I'm making, people are lining up to come get your offer. No, it's a matter of where those people are, but they're there. They're out there, right? You just gotta find them and bring them to this ice cream truck. Cause the guy to the ice cream truck story is like, you can put your ice cream truck in the park. It's nice and warm outside, and you can open up the truck and just start selling ice cream. Or you can let it lock for a while and go out the park and say, hey, this is my ice cream truck. I'm about to open up at 12 o'clock. And if you want ice cream, go up there at 12 o'clock. I'm gonna open up. You're gonna tell a lot of people in the park. And when you tell a lot of people in the park, they're gonna line up for the ice cream truck. When you open at 12, everybody's lined up now for getting ice cream. So the person can't come up to you and say, hey man, can you said $5 for my ice cream? Like, oh, can I get it for 4? No. Look behind it, there's a lot of people waiting to get the ice cream. So you can't bargain the price anymore because there's demand. There's demand because your stuff, you know your stuff is valuable. So position yourself the same way is another part of the process, making your offer.
It requires us to make offers with a full heart and open hands, to get out of our head and into our heart and realize that the offer is creating impact. Recognize your worth. Know how valuable what you have to offer is. Get out of your own head of sabotaging yourself even before you make the offer. And whatever that offer is, and obviously Asher and I have been talking about offers that we have in our programs, my Hustle with Heart program and Asher's Memoirs to Millions program. But the truth of the matter is, even if it's me selling these digestive enzymes, I have to have confidence in knowing, and I'll rewind that. I can only have confidence in knowing what benefit this has to someone else because I've experienced it.
Boom. You're a perfect case study.
So because I experienced it and I know what it's done for me and I know what it's done for Asher and I know what it could do for you, I have the confidence to position myself with authority. These digestive enzymes will help you look at Bun and Cheese a whole lot. These digestive enzymes are what helps me eat my favorite meal of the day, which is ice cream. Or how about Easter Sunday, I actually make my late grandma-in-law's ham recipe. And I only make it once a year. It's a lot of work. It's a fresh ham, but it's delicious. She's Panamanian and it's just delicious. And so I plan to eat a lot of ham on Sunday. And these digestive enzymes help me make room for dessert. It's not going to make me go to the bathroom, but it's going to help relieve that itis feeling and help digest and process the food as I digest it. So me saying that with confidence and then telling somebody what the price is and having confidence in knowing that every penny of the price for this digestive enzymes is well worth it. But if I question myself and I think about, Asher, I know you get like an upset stomach when you eat Bun and Cheese, and so you don't really eat Bun and Cheese too much. And after I saw what Bun and Cheese looks like, I understand, right? 'Cause I can't eat cheese either. So I had this thing. It's called Digestive Enzymes, and it helped me. I don't know if it's gonna help you, but it helped me. Do you think that you'd want to try some? See if it helps you?
You don't sound so sure.
No, of course not. That confidence, that energy, it's what makes the difference.
But here's the thing, that digestive enzymes a capability that I have. It's a tool that I have now that I can use to make sure that when I do indulge in my childhood addiction, so to speak, or my childhood guilty pleasure, so to speak, I can do it knowing that I have a backup. I have a tool that's going to work in case I need to make sure that my system don't go crazy on me.
Yeah.
But you know what, still, Jess? Before I discovered that thing, I was skeptical as hell, by the way. I wasn't sure. I tried it one time, like, this ain't really work. But I had to do it a couple times. I'm like, wait a minute, this thing actually worked. I feel it. But oftentimes, what happens with a lot of people is they don't do the thing long enough for it to work. Somebody says, try this, like, well, try it one time. I don't feel the difference. Yeah. But is it something that you really want? You got to try it more than one time. That's what I was saying is that's why I put my price on things, right? Because I know you're not willing to go invest on the same pad long enough to get to the result on your own. You're going to quit before you reach the result. So therefore, I'm like, if you want me to walk with you and make sure that you don't quit on yourself, then I'm gonna charge you a price. Because I know that's like writing a book. I know there's so many people that start writing a book, just a lot of people, and they quit because it's not the easiest thing to finish without right help. So I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not gonna come show up with you on this thing that I know takes a lot of energy, a lot of willpower if that exists, right, to get to the end result. I know a lot of there's more quitters than starters. It's
Yeah.
possible, but I'm just saying it's something that I know. So therefore, this is gonna be my price because I know you need somebody that's not gonna that's gonna help you get past the quit line because you're gonna quit before you get to the result. Therefore, you won't get the outcome. And
Yes.
because you want the outcome, I'm like, if you want me to walk with you, I'm charge you. This is my price.
I agree. And we're probably overdue for wrapping up time.
Yes.
There are more quitters than finishers in the world, is what
Mhm.
Asher was trying to say, which I completely agree with, because if you quit on one thing, you could quit on anything. And I
Mhm.
think that when people have that mindset and realize that the answer to how not and why not to quit is community, it's growth, it's mindset, it's the pillars of the conversations that we have week after week. You know, we talk about the 5 Ps, and I'll turn that over to you in a second again. But I think that when you realize that you're not asking for money when you make an offer, you are making a difference. You are offering possibility. I'm also going to say this as we close out. Don't rob someone of their growth because you are afraid of being uncomfortable.
Mm.
You heard that? Don't rob someone else of their growth, of their possibility, of their dream, of their desire, because you feel uncomfortable, because you feel unsure, because you are afraid. Change how you think about the offer. Change the way you think about your value. Recognize who and what you are to the world.
I'm gonna wrap up. Let's reiterate what we started off with: the money-related anxiety, and the goal was to help entrepreneurs shift their relationship with money from fear to empowerment. And the 5P again, you can recognize that in a conversation, recognize in your life. We start with principle. Money is a tool, not a master. We got the pattern, which is underpriced and service, fear of selling, guilt about making money. And the promise is shifting your money mindset leads to abundance and confidence. We got prediction. The more comfortable you become with money, the more you'll attract. And finally, purpose, how you apply this thing. Price something fairly and ask for it unapologetically. And that, my friend, is how you recognize the 5 Ps in your life, in your conversation, and everything you do in your offer. Just make sure that because this is an alliterative process, right? Or alliteration, right? We kind of like connect these different letters back to back, right, to make sure you remember them, and we kind of put these 5 Ps together so you can kind of streamline your own thinking process. So, with that said, Jess, what is your biggest takeaway from this conversation? Or you got some good ones? What is it?
Make the offer.
Hmm?
Have nothing to lose and everything to gain, and not just for you, but for the person that you're making the offer to, whether it's to help them feel better with some digestive enzymes, or whether it's to help them create the change that they desire for their business, for their mindset, for their growth, whether the offer is just to be part of a successful, empowering community. Whatever the offer is, have the confidence in knowing that if it changed your life, you could help change somebody else's life with your offer.
Mm. And by the way, Memoirs Million is working. So 27 April, you might get this podcast after the date, Jess, but definitely 27 April is when we come together for the launch of our book, Memoirs to Millions. And I'm gonna say this right now. The second book that me and Jess is working on is called Mindset Coward. Line Your Way to the Truth. That book is coming on so well so far. It's a group project already. And we got some awesome authors in there with along with me and Jessica. And it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. So look forward to that one. But definitely on the 27th in New Rochelle, New York, at Jess location, we're gonna be doing this brunch, the success brunch.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that, Jess. What
Uh,
else you got?
Success Brunch is a quarterly brunch that I host to highlight and network with the community. And this brunch, we are launching officially our Memoirs to Millions book, and I'm super excited for it. First off, it's the first book my name is ever going on. And the fact that we're going to bring such diverse groups of people in the same room to not only talk about what they're doing, but to hear about our project with this book and how their story is just as impactful and powerful as our stories. The only difference is we were able to put pen to paper and they just haven't
Mhm.
started. So being able to offer people that opportunity to turn their story into their memoir, you know, you shared with me about what the power of your story and putting it in a book could do for you as an individual. How it can open the door to rooms that you would not normally be invited into. How you now have something to add to your offer. How you now have the ability to be seen and heard differently because your name is on a book. And I think that
Mhm.
when you realize that the book is so powerful because of your story, and that power of your story is what is going to help you achieve the next things that you desire in your life. So if you're local in the New York area and you want to join us, send us a comment.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah,
We
let's
can
do it.
go. In all seriousness, I just love the fact that we have such a beautiful community of people working together, and everyone has a diverse, different talent, skill set, expertise to bring to the table. But collectively, we work so cohesively together and we shine a light on what each of us has to offer. And I love that about our community. So, with that being said, Asher, they can find me on Instagram at Success is Your Reward with Jess. You could find me on Facebook by my name. And if you're interested in registering and locking in your spot for the 12-week Hustle with Heart coaching program, feel free to go online and go to hustlewithheart.online. That's hustlewithheart.online and secure your spot today. Where can they find you, Asher?
Asher Wright and all the platform except for Instagram. On Instagram is asher.re.sta. Awesome. With that, folks, make it a utterly fantastic Easter weekend. If you get this for Easter or the rest of the year, see you guys.